Hello friends! It has been a while since I've done a honest, raw, doing this video when I don't have the answer yet type video. So let's do it. I feel a bit wobbly, quite literally a bit wobbly. It's so funny. So I have set all of this up to do a medication update video for you, which maybe I will do after this one. But as my camera was charging, I started just talking through something out loud, and then I was like, I need to do this video. I need to do this video now. It's... okay, where do we start? I think it's probably been, oh my goodness, it's probably been a year, I want to say, since I did the video about shame, and my experience of that when I was at a real low point and shared that. That was probably like my most vulnerable video. And I think I've been in my head a little bit this year. Now this is my job, or it's an extension and part of the work I do. In some respects, like in my head about not hiding parts of it, but just, I don't know, I've been in my head about it basically. And I think part of that is because as a coach, and that's primarily the work that I do, I work with people one-to-one, a big part of coaching is not like inserting yourself and not being about you. And so I sometimes have this fear that if I like talk too much about my own journey, people will feel a bit like, I don't know, I actually don't know what my fear is, because all this has proven to me in the videos I've done so far is that people like that, and that's why they come to me, and it works really well. So this is an unfounded fear, but I think I've been in my head about it. And you may have noticed, or not noticed, because you have a life of your own, but my posting videos has been not great, consistent, a lot, just not been as present over the last few months. And I'm okay with that in that this is what I want it to be, but I'm not okay with it in that there's lots that I want to do, but I keep self-sabotaging. And I want to talk about why today, because it's related to rejection sensitivity, and that isn't a topic I've actually spoken about on this channel, because it is one of the most raw things for me, but equally I know that it is for you as well, and that's why this is important. So let's talk about that a little bit. I have known for a while now that I have a difficult relationship with being online. I'm not on any social media. I haven't been for quite a while, both personally and professionally, and that works for me. Like, it's partly a time suck thing. I don't want to get stuck into the wormhole. I want to be present. I want to live my life. But also from a work perspective, like, I like long form content. That's why I do YouTube. I have Substack, and I have my LinkedIn. Links in the description. But I don't do short form because it's not my happy place. It's not my happy place to try and distill what is often quite a complex and intricate subject into like a short clip. But also there's another part of this which is probably more present for me, which is that I'm scared. I'm scared of everyone online. And it's funny because I keep talking about it like it's a recent realization, but I remember this in the pandemic. I wanted to start YouTube in 2020, 2021, and I didn't because of this hypervigilance that I have, that there is danger and rejection everywhere. Now, my fellow ADHDers will know that this is a big part of rejection sensitivity. We expect rejection. But I think for me, it's got considerably worse since the pandemic, and I didn't notice until last week, because I looked after my friend's puppy. My friend's got a 3-month-old puppy. She was on holiday for 10 days. I looked after her. Oh my God, she's so cute and adorable and lovely. But wow, I've never looked after a dog before, and it was a lot. But one of the things that actually I got really emotional about is that as a puppy, you are training the dog to know, oh, see, it gets me emotional. You are training a dog to understand that strangers are okay, right? So every morning we'd go out, or we'd go to the pub, or we'd do something together, and I'd take the puppy out, and strangers would be absolutely in love with this dog, and they'd come and talk to me about it. And honest to God, in that 10 days, I probably had 30 conversations with 30 different people. And I was like, oh, people aren't scary. And I don't think I'd realised quite how much, there's always been this present thing for me, but since the pandemic, and I'm guessing it's a degree of being stuck inside, hugely, but also I think like existing in an online space is now new, is new for me since the pandemic, but also all of the shit that happened during that time that you could only really although this is how we exist nowadays, but you know, access information about online. Like for me, there's just this shitstorm bin fire online thing that if that even makes sense. What I'm trying to say is it's got a lot worse with me since the pandemic, in that my level of hypervigilance is like this. And so I expect rejection or danger. I'm looking out my window now as if I'm like I look at a stranger and I'm expecting like a confrontation or a problem or a judgment. And it didn't used to be this bad, but it is a problem. It is a problem. And so it was kind of weirdly healing with the dog, because I was like, oh, people aren't scary. People are actually nice. And I'm really trying to change and challenge my perception on this, because I'm sure as many of you that have followed me for the last couple of years and would probably say in the comments, like, this channel and this community are honestly, the comments that I get and the responses that I get are like 99% positive and more than I could ever have hoped and imagined. But I avoid looking at comments quite a lot of the time, because my fight or flight up here worry is that I'm going to see something that is going to spin me into rejection sensitivity. Like this hypervigilance around it is just there all of the time. Now I think I need some therapy around this, to be fair. I think because it is a physiological response, right? Like I know on every logical level that somebody that can disagree with me, that somebody can have a different opinion, that people have completely different angles that they're coming from. I can believe that I'm right, I can believe and trust myself, but the hypervigilance, danger, fight or flight is a physiological thing. Where am I going with this? I suppose it all links back to this rejection sensitivity thing though, right? Which is, despite all of the logic, for me to be told that somebody is disappointed in me, for me to be criticised, to open up myself to any possibility that could happen, like, hits me to the core of disgustingness. Really is like a visceral feeling. And I don't like that, as I'm sure many of you don't, right? I really don't like it about myself, because it's the biggest piece that I feel out of control of. And I had this incident of rejection sensitivity, like, recently, that like, it's almost like you're outside of yourself and you're going, you don't need to respond like this, like you don't need to feel like this. You get on every logical level, this is fine. But then the sadness that I got pulled into is just so overwhelming. And I know now what it is, and I know it'll get better, but it's just a lot. It's a lot, right? Like, it's hard. But I think part of what I'm trying to say here for myself and for you, in case it helps, is like, oh God, I'm just realising this now. When I first started doing stuff on the internet, right, so in 2018 I released my blog, and it was pre-ADHD diagnosis, 4 years before, but it was about perfectionism, fear of failure, understanding like people-pleasing and things like that. I was so scared to do it, but I just had this sense of courage, and I did it, and the more I did it, the more courageous that I got. But I feel like I've lost that sense of courage. And that might seem odd to you, because I'm doing a video right now where I'm like talking about my innermost feelings about stuff. But I'm kind of fine with that. I think it's that I'm beating around the bush here because I'm too scared to say out loud. I know what it is, but telling you what it is feels like, actually, what does it feel like? I don't really know what the problem is. It's money related. It's okay. Oh God. One of the things I'm really passionate about is helping other people with ADHD create a life and a career and a work where they can afford to live their lives and do what they love whilst doing work that they love, right? So this is why this is important for me to get over and work through. And like, I fully back and believe that, but back and believe it? Yeah. But right now I'm struggling with it in myself. Let me give you an example, because I'm just skirting around the topic, right? I'm skirting around the topic. I've been doing YouTube for a couple of years now, I've got what, 7,500 subscribers, and I'm looking at other income streams for myself and other ways that I can like feel like I've got a bit of a rejuvenation around YouTube and like a bit of more of a focus for myself. And I was talking to a friend and they were like, why don't you switch on memberships? And I'm like, ugh, bleh, ugh. And what kept coming up for me with that is like, but I've not done enough to warrant that. How could I possibly ask somebody for a small amount of money a month? I've not done enough. I've not helped enough. It's like feeling right. Like if I just did this, this, and this more, then I would deserve to ask people for money for stuff, right? So the whole thing for me around this is money related. And the reason I'm struggling is because I've already got this self-doubt explaining it to you because I have switched them on. And now I'm like, this is going to look like I'm promoing, and I am promoing, but also like, I'm like, this is true, right? So I was sat on that for like 2 weeks and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And I was in my head about it and I was like, how could I? Oh, no, it's a bad idea. And what happened is I go looking for proof that people will have a problem. So I went on to, it was actually, God, who was it? Dr. Oh my goodness. Healthy Gamer, right? Healthy Gamer, massive channel. Does lots of mental health content, ADHD content. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna look at what his intro video is like. And then I scroll through the comments. And I'm scrolling through the comments and it's all people absolutely up in arms about how he could dare possibly charge for something. Yada, 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 yada. And I fell into this hole because it was like, my worst fears are going to come true. People are going to think that I'm taking advantage of them. People are going to think that I'm only doing this for money. People are going to think that I'm acting out of integrity, right? And that for me like hits at the core of my rejection sensitivity, which is to be criticized about something that I, even though I believe and agree with my decision, I'm insecure about. So then I just fell into this hole. And then, don't ask me what happened, I have no idea why. I woke up a week ago and I was like, I'm just going to switch them on. Because the other side to this, for me, and the other thing that I'm genuinely really good at helping other people do, but it's hard in myself, is going like, this is just an experiment. It doesn't have to be a fully formed thing, right? It's just a, hey guys, I'm trying a channel membership. I want to learn. I want to learn what's helpful for you. I want to learn what's helpful for me, because the big issue related to this for me is I'm scared to set an expectation on what I can deliver on in case I can't deliver on it, right? And that's all related to rejection sensitivity. I don't want to let people down. I don't want to disappoint people. So I'm like, there's just one version of this. Put it out there, see what happens. And I don't really know where I'm going with this, except to say the crisis that I have about it is I am scared that I am not strong enough to do this work. And you know what's really interesting? When I say that, I don't believe it. I think I am. But I just wish that I didn't walk around with this warped perception that skews the fact that there are so many people within this community and out there in the world that are kind and lovely and are not out to get me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Ugh. My camera cut out because it overheated. What's ironic about this is I expect that now I have voiced this to you, it will suddenly unlock something and I won't be so scared anymore, right? And I'll just stop doing videos. And oh, I've just realised the window's open, hang on. I opened it to help calm the camera down, cool the camera down. Yeah, I suspect in all of this stuff, voicing it will help unlock it for me. I guess where my head's at with it is like, I know that the only way out is through on this stuff. And if I treat it in all of the stuff I'm excited to advocate and help people do, which is like as experiments, as being playful about it, as being lighthearted, as seeing what you can learn from stuff, I know that that's the right way forward and the right thing to do. But I guess right now, for various reasons, I just feel so internally enveloped by the visceral feeling of hypervigilance and rejection sensitivity. And I suspect lots of you feel the same. And I don't want to make it like this sense of like, I'm never going to be successful if I don't conquer this. But it is genuinely the most sabotagey part of my career right now. Like I need to figure out a way to get over this hurdle and be okay with it. Or I'm not gonna like, fundamentally, when it comes to money, I'm not going to earn enough money to be able to continue with this work, because I keep not talking about the services that I have and the things that I do, because I'm scared that people will think that I've like sold out. And I'm not even going to explain the logic as to why I don't agree with that point of view. But because it hits at the core of a value system for me that is like making things accessible to people and not taking advantage of people, emotionally I get really insecure about that perception. And you know, fundamentally, the goal for me one day is to be in a situation where you can think poorly of me, you can disagree with me, you can think that I'm a hack, right? And just like, whatever. And I go, cool story, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is the goal. But I right now really struggle to see how I would ever get there. But there's things that I do now that a year ago, I didn't think I could possibly ever do. So that's a bit of hope, isn't it? Bit of hope, bit of possibility. And I know that community, and this is part of it, right? I know that community is a massive supporter and healer, but in community becomes the danger of rejection. But you can't isolate yourself from other people because of that fear, right? It just makes it worse. So trying to figure out what's my version of taking the puppy out to meet people and realise that people aren't scary. And I guess this is probably part of it. Nah.